That's what I'm fucking talking about, is the only way that I can describe this Olympics because not only did it have iconic moments, it was just pure, unadulterated joy, especially when compared to the last Olympics. And you know what? I also want to say that I was right because not only did I predict that Alysa Liu was going to be everywhere, but that the American Ice Princess was going to be back. The amount of attention that the quote unquote Blade Angels or Babes of Glory are getting, especially Alyssa Liu, is going to mark a real, genuine difference in the United States. Like Isabeau and Amber are having a big, big moment and all over my TikTok, and it's going to give so much attention to the US. And I'm just excited to go to Stars on Ice. And if anybody wants to take me there for backstage content, here I am. But also, I was right in another way, mistakenly. In my like road to 2026 beginner's guide to the Olympics, I mistakenly said that the person that had the Dune music was going to prophetically kind of mark it as their destiny, that they were going to take away the gold. I said that that person was Ilya Malinin because I confused his costume with Dune, which honestly, honest mistake. Look at his costume. It kind of looks like Dune. But in reality, the person skating to the Dune music is not Ilya Malinin. Is our surprising Olympic champion, Mikhail Shaidorov. And if that is not prophetic, I don't know what is. Because I literally said there is no way that the person dancing to the Dune music is not going to take the gold. I just had it wrong. It wasn't Ilya. It was Mikhail Shaidorov. And that is exactly what happened. So I continue to be a witch every Olympics. But you know what? Let's recap the Olympics chronologically so that you can ride this roller coaster of emotions that I had to endure. So let's start with the team event. The team event, for me, the highlight was, and I'm not ashamed to say it, Team Japan. Team Japan not only won 3 out of the 4 events, but had the best reactions after every skate and probably the best sportsmanship. And the only reason they didn't win was because there was a 1 point difference with Team USA. And I think that Team USA skated to the gold because they felt the pressure. And surprisingly, who was supposed to be their weakest link, Ellie Cam and Danny O'Shea, ended up doing amazingly. And that paired with Chalk and Bates, who were perfect the entire Olympics, we'll get into it. And then Ilya Malinin, who did a mistake but pulled it through and was not called out for that fall. Yes, I will say it. That gave them the edge for that 1 point difference win. But Team Japan was the real story for me. Team Japan and Team Italia. Because Team Japan had Yuma Kakiyama actually beat Ilya Malinin in the short program. And then Kari Sakamoto, of course, was beautiful. Miura and Kihara basically set themselves to be the favorites for the pairs event, in my opinion. And then Team Italy, freaking Team Italy, why am I saying like Italy? Team Italy, there we go. They came up with bronze. Nobody expected that, but they were so well rounded in every discipline. And I think the moment that we all remember is Matteo Rizzo killing it. Matteo Rizzo, who has not been consistent for this entire season, gives the best performance of his life in home ice in Italy in front of his whole team. Like it could not have been more of a movie moment. And he slid into the ice like a soccer player, and whole of Team Italia was just so, so happy. Also, shout out to Lara Naki Gutman, who killed at the entire Olympics. It's a lot of pressure to be the only female skater basically that has a chance at the podium or any medals, and they did that. But this team event also gave us kind of into the fact that Team USA was shaky, at least some members of Team USA. Amber Glenn specifically did not perform well, and she was very upset but the fact that she might have been the reason they almost lost out on the gold. And then Ilya Malin, of course, having that fall and not winning the short program, it kind of showed that the quad god was not infallible. And that was going to be a foreshadow for the rest of the event. First thing we need to cover is ice dance. Because you know who was strong as a rock the entire competition? Chalk and Bates. But they are not Olympic champions. Instead, in ice dance, we had Team France. Guillaume Cizeron and Laurence Fournier-Boutry. They are Olympic champions. And it is not only a scandal because of the shady circumstances with which they have paired together. If you don't know, quick recap. Guillaume Cizeron is one half of the last Olympic champion team with Gabriela Papadakis. They broke up unceremoniously as a skating couple, and then Gabriela later on put out a memoir where she described Guillaume not only as controlling, but as very mean towards the end of their partnership. And she even alleged, the worst allegation that there was, is that when Gabriela Papadakis was going to report her abuser who had sexually assaulted her, allegedly, Guillaume threatened to stop skating with her if she put in the actual complaint. And that, paired with the fact that they were also sharing ice with another abuser, which we will talk about in a second, made them ultimately break up. Just couldn't deal with that, and there were too many differences. So then he decided to partner up with Laurence Fournier-Poudry. Why was she available, you might think, if she's such a good ice dancer? Well, her previous ice dance partner, Nikolai Sorsen, of 13 years and current boyfriend of 12, was banned from figure skating for 6 years due to sexual assault allegations. Yes, you correctly, her current boyfriend is still banned from skating. Actually, that was overturned. He's no longer banned under the technicality that he's not Canadian and that Skate Canada did not have the jurisdiction to ban him because he, I think, is Dutch. So it's not that he was found innocent, is that he's just not under their national jurisdiction. So Laurence Fournier-Baudry paired up with Guillaume Cizeron, and now they train on the same ice as the frontrunners for the Olympics, Madison Chalk and Bates. And I would just pay to be there the day the Chalk and Bates coaches, who they have been with for about 7 years since the Ice Academy of Montreal was opened, Marie-France Dubois and Patrice Luzon, when they went to Chalk and Bates and told them that not only had they made this couple, made this connection, but they were going to train them for the Olympics with only 1 year to go. It feels like betrayal. Of course, you can't, not take new students, especially when they're this good. But telling your current students who have been with you for 7 years, who are practically locked in, be Olympic champions, and then you're telling them that you're not only have you made, not only have you created their biggest competition, but you're going to train them side by side with them, and you're going to go full throttle, whichever best man wins, is insane to me. And so when we go to ice dance, Chalk and Bates did amazing in the team event, which was, I think, maybe 3 days before the individual event, and they do it again. They kill it. They are completely in sync. Watch their twizzles, they are. We have a lot of other beautiful ice dancers, obviously the ones from Italy, which is Marco Fabri and Charlene Guinard. They did amazing. I specifically really love their gala program. Now I'm obsessed with that song, and they did amazing. Also, are they not a couple anymore? I thought they were married, and now I'm hearing that their girlfriend is the choreographer. Also, ice dance, historically messy. There are exes, relationships, dumps. You break up with your marriage, and then you get a girlfriend, and then they are also choreographing you to dance with your ex. Like, it's messy. So, this new mess from the French team is not new, but the level of mess is new because these are sexual allegations level of mess. We go into the ice dance competition. The Americans do amazing, but they're not scored as well as the team event. And Maddie even laughs because she's like, how did we do the exact same performance 2 days ago and now our scores are lower? They did the same, if not better, than the team event. And then the French go. And they are the freaking Olympic champions by like 2 points, almost like 1.5. And everybody loses their damn minds. And it's not because we hate the French. There is evidence, founded evidence against the clause that they did not win the Olympics. One, freaking twizzles. Look at these twizzles. They are not in sync. It was not a perfect performance. On top of that, when the scores are published, we see that the French judge, Jezebel Dubois, being named Jezebel's choice, they scored the French 8 points in the lead. To put it in perspective, the American judge only scored Maddie and Evan about 4 points ahead. This French judge doubled it, like far and away the highest lead. And that scoring is a large reason why all their scores added up to them beating the Americans. So there were petition signs. Maddie and Evan were talking to the press saying that they should be reviewed, that they should, appeal their decision. And then what happened? US figure skating let the 24-hour window for an appeal just pass along like the wind. And you're thinking, why? Well, they're standing behind their judging system. They said, no scandal this Olympics. The last few Olympics have been insane. At least that's what I'm interpreting as. They put out a statement that said, working together with Maddie and Evan after the games, we will have thoughtful and intentional discussions about the best way to support them and the future of the sport. Slap to the face, in my opinion. And so now Maddie and Evan are silver medalists, which they don't deserve to be, but they did get a gold medal with the team event. And the French have won, and Guillaume Cizeron gets everything that he wants. That's like the moral of the freaking story. And there was one quote that I want to say by Gabriela Papadakis, which I think is very true to figure skating. She said, the male skaters in figure skating, because they are so few, are treated as precious things that cannot be lost. So whenever they mess up, whenever they do bad things, people are willing, way too willingly, to overlook them because although women are a dime a dozen and they feel replaceable, the men are allowed to just kind of run amok. And yeah, I all I think about is it worth it? Like, is their legacy gonna withstand what they're leaving behind in this Olympics? Both not just for Guillaume Cizeron, but Laurence Fournier-Boudry. And so I believed we've met our quota. This is the Olympic scandal. This is the discipline that got the Olympic scandal this year. And how wrong I was. Because the next event is what? Say it with me, the men's, which their free event landed on Friday the 13th. If that is not ominous, I don't know what is. And it freaking delivered. Ilya Malinin became the face of the Olympics. I mean, with the self given name like a quad god, you can't help but become that level of notorious and famous in this event. Every single promotion, especially from at least the American side on NBC, was the quad god, the first man to land the quad axel. Will he land the quad axel? This quad axel became bigger than him winning the Olympic gold medal because that felt like a given. That's how much we had confidence and pressure on him to win this gold medal because we were just like, of course he's going to win it. The real question is, will he land that quad axel and become the first man in history to ever land it in competitive Olympic ice? And this is the thing that I think haunted him the entire Olympics. Not only that, but because he was so oversaturated in the promotion, he was being constantly pulled away from training to do promotional segments. He was around with Snoop Dogg, he was walking around Milan with Amber Glenn, he was doing this, he was doing that. The quad god was everywhere. And usually, at least for me, that didn't make me nervous because he named himself the quad god. He made merch called the GOAT. He seems to thrive off pressure, and this is the ultimate pressure cooker test. And I thought, of course, he'll survive it. He's the quad god. But looking back, the team event should have been more of a warning because Ilya was shaky. And I just took it as like first performance nerves. I mean, it was the first event of the season. I think that's why they put the team event first so that you can get all your nerves out on this ice where it's, team related and not in your individual legacy. And so I thought, you know what? He's going to nail it. And he did for the short performance. He nailed it. He was far and beyond in the lead. Like, I think like 10 points ahead. So much so that he could withstand some falls. Like, if he fell and then maybe do some triple axels instead of quads, he still could have won, I believe. But that's not what happened. In the show program, however, we need to talk about the people who were actually robbed. The real story of the show program was not Ilya Malin because he performed as expected. The real story was, for me, Adam Xiaohingfa. Adam Xiaohingfa, who is probably the most volatile skater out there. Like him and Kevin Amos, there's something about the French. They just go up, and when they go up, it's amazing. Then they just plow down. Like they fall so far down. And Adam Xiaohingfa did the best performance of the short program that he has done yet. In my opinion, he even might have should have been second because Yuma Kageyama could not recreate the magic of the team event. His short program was not perfect, but he ended up in second place with Adam Xiaohingfa in third, which was the performance for me. Ilya Malinin far and away in first place with 10 points, and who was criminally underscored in sixth place? Jun Huacha. Jun Huacha had a perfect short program. I don't know why he was scored that low. If I could have rearranged the placements, it would have been Ilya Malinin, Adam Xiaohingfa, Yuma, then Jun Huacha. But that was not the case. Of course, we had the other men perform, and one of the biggest stories is Maxim Namov. And Maxim Namov had short and free and a beautiful Olympics program. He did what he needed to do, and the standing ovation, the attention, and this dream that he's getting to do for his parents in their honor and also for himself and his legacy is beautiful. I think his free program was the one that like solidified this Olympics for me, for him. But also in the short, Maxim Namov did amazing. But then comes the day of the free event. On Friday the 13th, I can't get over that. The most like ominous dark cloud over this whole event. And it got so bad, guys, that conspiracy theories were being swirled around because every man was falling, particularly in the final group, which is the top men of the sport. Everybody was slipping and sliding. It was like a water park out here. It was insane. I, even me, was like, is something actually wrong with the ice? Like, what is going on? Jun Ho Cha, who I was really rooting for to be compensated for the missing points of the short program, started us off with possibly the worst fall. Like, he went full body to the boards, like a leg all the way up. Like, hold on, grab the wall, wiggle like you're trying to make you fall off. That level of fall. And it was really scary. And that's when I started getting scared because a thing that happens in figure skating is that once the energy switches and it's fall after fall after fall, that affects every skater. It's not just like, oh, the ice might be bad. No, no, no. The energy, the anxiety with which the crowd is grabbing their chairs, hoping that nobody else fall, everything affects the next skater, no matter how loud their headphones are. They will feel it. And I've seen this happen before at other competitions, and I could feel it happening through the screen right here. After Junhua Cha, we had Adam Shahinfa, who had, honestly, I'm sad to say I kind of saw this coming because Adam Shahinfa is notorious for having one amazing perfect skate and one horrible, horrible downtrodden skate. And this is exactly what happened. He was falling all over the place, like couldn't get it together, all mental because he can do it. If Adam Shahinfa was clean, he would be the biggest competition for Ilya Malinin, and I stand by that. And if Junhua Cha was clean, he'd be like Yuzuru Hanyu. He reminds me the most of Yuzuru Hanyu in terms of like style of skating. He has so much charisma and persona on the ice. Like no level of performance can match Junhua Cha. And then we had Yuma Kageyama. Even Yuma Kageyama, who is the true main competition for Ilya Malinin and had already beaten him in the short program at the team event, this was not the case. Here in the free, he was not good. He had step outs. I screamed. We all screamed. The anxiety was reaching a fever pitch. And you know who was next? The quad god, Ilya Malinin. But in the midst of all this chaos, who was the one skater that kept it together? Who is that young little boy with braces and floppy 90s hair? It is Mikhail Shaidorov from Kazakhstan, who performed a quad filled program. 5 quads. That's a lot of quads. And he, I think, is only 21. Very, very young. He has had a remarkable season. He kind of like came out of nowhere and took the world by storm. And this performance, where he felt no pressure because nobody even predicted him on the podium, was beautiful. It was perfect. He was the dark horse that actually dark horsed. And it was a combination, though. It was the fact that everybody was slipping and falling, and he did not. His mental game was the strongest that day, and it got him not on the podium, but with the freaking gold medal. And seeing his level of like reactions to learning that first he's assured a place on the podium and he's shocked. He's like, what? Then he's like, you're at least getting silver. And he's like, hello? Like nobody was more shocked than Mikhail Shaidorov. That leader chair outside in the crowd for everyone to see, best idea to ever had, honestly. Because we saw every range of emotion with Mikhail Shaidorov. And of course, when he got told that he would be assured at least the silver medal, he was elated. He thought, I've done it for Kazakhstan. He is the first Kazakh to reach the Grand Prix final. He now would be the first Kazakh to be on the podium in like 32 years. And then comes out Ilya Malinin, which we all thought, okay, he's getting the gold. Mikhail Shaidorov's getting the silver, and then Yuma Kageyama's going to get third. And then it happened. Ilya Malinin started off strong. Like the Ilya that we know. He landed a beautiful quad for his opening. And then comes that freaking quad axle, the jump that every single performance he's had, the commentators are like, here it comes. If he does it, if he attempts it, the anticipation is building in his head. The pressure is cooking because it didn't happen in the team event. It didn't happen in the short program. This is his last chance to actually be the first man to land the quad axle on Olympic ice competitively. And then it happens. He doesn't fall. He doesn't step out. He pops it. He made the choice to pull back, something we've never seen from the quad god, because I saw the nerves on his face behind the scenes. I remember thinking he looks like he's gonna cry, but I was like, you know what? I'm making things up in my head. But then when I saw it on the ice, oh no, because after that it was just mental downhill, a fall. After that it was another fall. And when the first fall happened, when the first pop happened, I said he can still do this. He can add it later on. He can, hell, he can fall one time after this and be completely fine if he lands the rest of the quads. But he wasn't landing any of them. And he wasn't changing his program. I really thought he was going to try to add it at the end, but I think the mental math, the pressure, if I do it here, I'm missing out on these points. What if I fall? What if I don't land it and then I lose even more points? I cannot begin to imagine what's going on through his head. And when he finished, the face he made, I've never seen Ilya this vulnerable, this sad, this down. He looked like he was trying his hardest not to cry, and he just said he blew it. He was so scared of just the world's reaction to him not being a quad god. The quad god had become human. And then when he got the scores, his dad's reaction, like one picture, this picture right here has been gone viral because people are like, this is the amount of pressure he had even at home to get this medal. And when he sat at the kiss and cry, he was like angry. He was saying to the camera, if they had sent me to Beijing, I would have known how to deal with the pressure. They should have sent me, blah, blah, blah. And to that I say, maybe. You don't know how you react to Olympic level pressure. Maybe you would have done better. Maybe not. This is history repeating itself because Nathan Chen, who also had record breaking quads, was not able to deal with the pressure at his first Olympics. And it wasn't until 4 years later in Beijing that he got the gold. And if history is to repeat itself, he will do so as well. And you know what? Now, when he goes into the Olympics, he won't come in as the overwhelming favorite. He'll be a hungry competitor amongst the rest. And I think that's what he needs. He needs the chase. He needs that competition. And at this Olympics, he didn't feel it. And that, coupled with the pressure of being the face of the Olympics, kind of took him out. After letting, his comments out and his rage out on the and cries, that he congratulated our Olympic champion, Mikhail, who is probably the most shocked person in the world. This is also, as you well know, if you watch my channel, the Olympic favorite curse. The Olympic favorite curse is alive and well, and I thought that it could only be with the women, but I was completely wrong because it happened in ice dance and in the men's. Now we got to get to the most watched event every single Olympic, the women's individual event. Before the Olympics happened, to me, the most unpredictable event, the one where I could not predict the podium at all, even if I tried, was the women's. Because everybody is so even keeled that it honestly was going to come down to who made a mistake. If everybody performed well, it could be anyone's game. And I mean anyone's game. Amber, Alyssa, Kaori, Ami, Monet, Adelia Petrosian, which we haven't talked about the individual neutral athletes at all, but I will talk about it. Adelia Petrosian is the sole Russian skater for the women's event. There was also Peter Gumenik for the men's event. There were the two individual neutral athletes for figure skate. Peter Gumenik did fine. I don't think he was ever in danger of winning any Olympic medals, at least not to me. But for the women's, Adelia Petrosian, I did think she had a chance if, and there's a big if she landed a quad and other people messed up. Two things had to happen for her to get the Olympic medal, and those two things did not happen. And people came for me when I said, can't she land a quad? She hasn't been consistent. Like, I don't think she can land one. People were like, you haven't seen this video, and you haven't seen this. And in Russia, she did this. She didn't land the quad. She couldn't. She just didn't land it for whatever reason, whether it was pressure, whether it was injury. I think it was injury because the rumors are usually true. And she just couldn't do it. We're going to skip to the end here. We all know that Alysa Liu won. But so Adelia Petrosian doesn't get to the podium, and they ask her, how are you dealing with it? And she says, I feel like I've accepted it. I'm more at peace with it. And honestly, as I look to these foreign skaters, I'm starting to learn how to enjoy myself at skating. Even if they mess up, they always feel proud of themselves. And that just broke my heart. What do you mean? Every time you skate, you can't find one positive thing to say about yourself? And the comments that have been coming from these Russian coaches, specifically Daniel Blankenhouse, are very interesting because they're saying, well, Alysa Liu skated with so much joy. Maybe Russian skaters should learn how to find that. Like, he's not the culprit or part of the machine. For some reason, they feel so much pressure. It's either you win or you're done. I mean, famously, Alexandra Trusova, who had the meltdown for getting silver, she says it's gold medal and then everything else is losing. And that's just the mentality that the Russians have because that's the culture that they have. And so seeing Adelia just have fun in the gala and make those comments about how she's going to try to learn from this experience tells me that Alysa Liu's win is so important. It's already making changes in the way that this competitive sport is seen and perceived by so many young girls, even the current young girls at the top of their game in the Olympics. But anyway, I digress. Let's go in order. In the short program, the biggest story was by far Amber Glenn. Amber Glenn had a heartbreaking moment in the short program. She was doing amazing. She was perfect. Like, nothing was wrong. Everybody was skating well. The vibes were on the up and up, and the same way that bad vibes can affect other skaters, when it's going well, that can affect other skaters because you don't want to be the one to mess up and change the vibe, to go down and mess up the next skater. So Amber Glenn, I had no worries. Literally was her last jumping pass, and then she doubles the freaking loop. For a woman who can land a triple axel that cleanly every single time, it is insane that she has this much struggle with the loop. But she does, and she did double it, and that means 0 points. Not negative GOE, not zero. No points. And that difference in the short program is a lot. Here we're fighting for every single point, every half a point, every 10th of a point because we're so even keeled. And that made her go to 13th place. She's bawling, she's crying, she's saying, I don't know what happened. I don't know what I did. And honestly, I blame a little bit of Tara Lipinski because she kind of jinxed it. She said some skaters have a bad habit that they'll double the loop if they don't feel confident in the landing, even though they can land it. And literally 10 seconds later, that happened to Amber. I couldn't deal with it. And she was so sad. We were all just hoping that she could reach top 5. But the reality is that with this mistake, it was going to be hard. She needed to be perfect in the free program. And if she hadn't done this mistake and she was perfect in the free program, I can assure you she would have won bronze. Before we go into the free, there are some skaters that I need to give a shout out to because they had an amazing Olympics and they should be very, very proud of themselves. Again, Lara Naki Gutman, amazing. Not only does she have a JAWS program, which I think was a crowd favorite and represented it so well in home ice, she had the best attitude. Loved her costume with like the shark bite on the side. Like I have nothing but good words to say about Lara Naki Goodman, and I think this is the best she's performed internationally. So I think she's really well set up for the next season. Then we have the People's Princess Luna Hendricks. Luna Hendricks, who came out after an injury. She represented Belgium so incredibly well, and she was performing with so much joy. She always does. But I just want to give her a shout out because she also gave me a lot of joy and performed amazingly well. No mistakes, no comments, no notes. And then, of course, I think we need to talk about Nina Petrokina. In my eyes, this was Nina's Olympics. This was Nina's freaking Olympics because she performed a perfect, and I'll say the word perfect short program, perfect free program, and perfect gala program. If the gala program was a competition, she would have won. That Chicago program where she like gets different men to like murder while doing the Cell Block Tango, amazing, astounding, like no notes, bus, another bus, club. Like I need that level of creativity and that level of charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent in every performance that she does because she acted the shit out of that performance. Like I've watched it like 10 times. Love Nina Petrokina. And she is a two-time back-to-back European champion. Like the end of the season has just been historic for her. Back-to-back European champion, perfect short at the Olympics, perfect free at the Olympics, and then perfect gala program. 10 out of 10. No notes. Also, so when you talk about in the short before we go to the free is the Japanese ladies. Ami Nakai had the lead in the short, which I think is very justifiable because Ami Nakai to me feels like the spiritual / biological daughter of Kaori Sakamoto. And I'm so happy that she is going to kind of be taking the reins after Kaori Sakamoto retires this season because Kaori Sakamoto had also a beautiful Olympics. But I think all the attention for the Japanese women was on Ami Nakai because Ami jumps are a little bit more complex than Kaori's, even though Kaori has still the most powerful and largest, like physically biggest jumps. Ami and Kaori Sakamoto had an amazing short program. So by the short program, it was Ami, Kaori, Alyssa. Also, we need to round up the Americans. Isabeau had an amazing short program. I think she did great. And she kind of held it together for the Blade Angels after Amber had that not so great performance. And Alysa Liu's short program is still my favorite short program of the season. She performed it perfectly. She performed it amazingly. Lave was out here giving her shout outs every day of the freaking week. Alysa Liu, she did that. She made this Olympics this moment. Every single artist she's covered has like reached out and been like so emphatically enthusiastic about her covering it. She's actually made these songs chart again. MacArthur Park, we will be talking about you. But yeah, for the women's in the American team, Isabeau did amazing, Alyssa did astounding, and Amber had that heartbreaking moment. While the Japanese team was very, very strong with the ladies, and Adele Petrosian was good, but her opportunities lied in the free. And so we go to the free program. And of course, for the free program, all eyes are on Amber Glenn because this is her chance to redeem herself. And just when you thought she was killing it, just when you thought she was doing perfectly, in the freaking loop, she does the hand touch. I can't. When she did that, this was my reaction. It was insane. Like, I couldn't believe it, but yet, you know what? She was still proud of herself. She ended the performance going like, yes, I killed that. She knew that she did amazing, and the judges rewarded her for that. Because, yes, it wasn't perfect, but she did well enough. She actually ended up being in 5th place overall, which tells us she would have had a medal if she hadn't messed up that loop. And it's all mental. It's insane how much mental strength plays into this game. She got that Olympic moment. She, got to look up at the Olympic rings. She was proud of herself. She connected with the crowd. She was in the leader chair for a long time. She got to see everybody skate. And she now leaves with the memory, the resilience, and the medal. The other American woman, Isabel Levito, did not have such a good free program. I don't know what happened because she started the program with a fall. But after that, she was rock freaking solid. I felt so bad because if it wasn't for that fall, she would have been way closer to the podium. I don't think she ever had a chance to actually be on it, but she's so young that I think she can get to another Olympic cycle. And this was a good practice in mental fortitude because she needed to be exposed to this pressure. And she also had a lot of home ice pressure because her family's from Milan. Her mom is from Milan. Her grandmother was there. So she dealt very well with this pressure and only had that one mistake. And after that was completely perfect. And Amber Glenn in the leader chair was even telling people, like, get up, clap, like, please give her some love and support because she knew just how bad that feels after her mess up in the short. And then we had Adelia Petrosian, who everybody was just asking, is she actually going to land the quad? And as we know, she didn't. And I think that was, yeah, pressure, but I think it was secret injury, as it usually is with the Russians. And after that, you could just see that she got depleted, defeated on herself, and she couldn't really enjoy the rest of the Olympics. Like one of the most tense moments was when she was waiting for her scores, and it was between Amber and the leader chair. Like, is she actually going to beat Amber and take over the leader chair or not? And it was just tense. Like Amber was just like, and Adelia was just like you could tell that she was riding on this way too much. Like this was the only one that she could get, being the leader at this moment, and she didn't get it, and it was devastating for her. And the coach who was there with her, Daniel Gleichenhaus, who I thought didn't pass the vetting of the ISU, but I guess did, he didn't look pleased either. But both their comments afterwards, after the gala and all that, seemed positive enough where they maybe will try to inject more joy in their skating. I don't know. One can only dream. But it is not defeat. Adelia ended up 6th overall. That is almost in the top 5 in the world. Amber being 5th. Then came Moneshiba, and Moneshiba was ranked the 3rd best of the Olympic team for the Japanese, and honestly, she did good. She did amazing. Mona is quite young. She shouldn't let this Olympic experience define her, because with the amount of skills that Ami Nakai, who's even younger, was putting out on the ice, and Kari Sakamoto, who is arguably the queen of the ice, with her high legacy, it was hard competition. But I think she did good. I think Moneshiba did really well. Then came Alysa Liu. And Alysa Liu, by this point, was already like the Olympic starling. Like everyone was obsessed with her hair. Everyone was obsessed with like her attitude. Every response to every question was like, nah, I'm playing. She is an icon and beacon of Gen Z culture at this point. Everyone's obsessed with her piercing. Like Alysa Liu had a lot of pressure also riding on her, because by this point, everyone was obsessed with her and was wanting her, needing her to get this gold. But the thing about Alyssa is you can't even feel it. You couldn't even see it. She was joking around backstage, throwing a ball with Amber. She was like checking her makeup and the camera. Like she was so effortless and zen. And you can see that on the ice. Because when MacArthur Park kicked off, oh my God, the moment. That song in and of itself is a crowd pleaser. Even through the screen, I was getting hyped up, and she was just smiling. She was beaming. She was flicking her hair. She was doing the little boots. Like it was perfect. And we all knew that. And when she finished the program, you know what she said? That's what I'm fucking talking about. And I could not agree more. She was now in the leader chair, taking out Amber, and Amber stood on the sides. They still hugged. Like the amount of sportsmanship that these girls have with each other was also very heartwarming for the entire world to see. I think this moment marked her as this generation's new American ice princess. The amount of Alyssa Liu fanaticism that there is now, I can't even comprehend. And she's saying that she wants to aim for 2030. Hopefully she does, because this momentum can only get bigger. And I'm so excited. After Alysa Liu, we had Kaori Sakamoto, who it is her swan song. It is her last Olympics. And this Olympics, she has just been enjoying herself. She's been freaking out over Tina-san, which is the mascot of the Olympics. She has been possibly the best team mother, telling Ami and Moneshiba a list of things to bring to the Olympics. She has been cheering on Yuma Kageyama. She's just been having a blast. This is her 3rd Olympic, guys. She has never placed below 6th place ever at any international competition. She was the queen of the ice for 2 seasons, beating everybody. Like, she has proven herself front and back. She has nothing else to prove. She's just here to enjoy herself and to cement her legacy as one of the greats. And she did amazing. She did great, but she wasn't perfect. So Alyssa Liu remained in the leaderboard. And then it was Amina Kai, the one who was a number 1 after the short program. And Amina Kai did good. She did great, honestly, but she wasn't perfect. And so it came down to the fact that she was the Olympic champion. Alyssa Liu, not Amina Kai. It ended up being Alyssa Liu, Olympic champion, Kaori Sakamoto, silver, and Amina Kai, bronze. And the reaction that Alyssa had to Amina Kai making it to bronze was just running to her, hugging her, picking her up, cheering with her, celebrating with her. The happy, excited dance that you do when you're in a girl's bathroom and somebody else tells you you look cute in your outfit. Like girlhood, literally girlhood. The amount of edits I've seen of girlhood, and just, oh, this is just, it feels so good after the last Olympics when it was literally the complete opposite. I can't even describe how opposite it was. And this Olympics showed us that it doesn't have to be this way. And once the Russians are back, which I do think they will be back, I hope this energy stays. And I hope that this marks a change in the greater culture of figure skating competitive ice. I hope that the Russians who are now commenting on, the Joy and Alyssa, Kauri, they're kind of leading the charge with Joy first skating. And hopefully now that Olympic champion won via those means, the Russians will listen and try to imitate it. With pairs, Miura and Kihara from Japan won. In my eyes, they were the clear front runners, and I think they deserved it. And yeah, that was the Olympics, guys. It was a roller coaster of emotions, and the American Ice Princess is freaking back, and I cannot wait. Make sure to go support all these ice skaters, follow them, go to Stars on Ice. If anyone wants to take me to Stars on Ice, I am here, US Figure Skating. And yeah, let me know what you guys thought about this Olympics. I thought it was the closest we've gotten to recreating the magic of Korea 2018. And I hope that you agree. And also, sorry that this is so late, but technical difficulties were abound. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye bye.